Check. Like they're fighting up with that cell there. Okay. Hi, Kel. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm good. Yeah, Carl is coming as well. He was here already. I think that's his stuff. Somewhere there. Right, we have a screen. And we have a next screen. Here they, man. Yeah, we good to go? Alright, cool. All right, I think we're good to go there. All right, nice. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. All right, I invite everyone to have your seats. We are about to start till later. The final event for this year's edition of the Brooklyn Caribbean Lit Fest. Make some noise for that now. Of course, this evening will be a celebration, awards, we'll be giving toasts. And we start anything one time. We had to give praise, and we had to give praise, man. Now, you know who was here last night? No, I don't hear the music on top here properly. So I hear it vaguely right now. So if only know it, sing it, so you can help me. At least sing the amen part. I didn't even know it was coming. Yes, man. We here to celebrate. Only have one more amen and only one nice one. One nice one. Hello, Instagram. Nah, man, you could give me some more vibes than that. Now we had to sing the chorus. I'll give me a good amen now, man. Give me a good one. Now you wake up Brooklyn, if they're sleeping. It coming. I know it coming here. Let me hear. That's what I like to hear, man. We going straight to the chorus, huh? I had to feel the vibes too, man. Hey, look, Kim dancing. It's dance ending backstage. Hey! All right, man. I ain't hearing all you. That's what we're talking about. You can't be saying hand raise and your hand down. And if you know what I mean, really scream, right? Really scream. That's what we're talking about. Give yourselves a round of applause. Hey! So it's till later. My name is Derron Sandy, Cooper Libre in the back with the music. And we have a real interesting musical journey. We have dramatic readings of the award winners. But first, I want to tell you all a little bit about Till Later. A loosely uttered promissory note of a return. As if we are accountants and auditors of a time yet to come. Till later. A sign that reps the dongs and ups and sides that slide uninvited into our lives. Yet we know that later, the time resides in the hopes of our minds. Everybody wants to live to see the morning. Every time we calendar events, we crucify death. We crown thorns in the thought that when the next roll call comes, you could be marked absent. So till later is an accent over a prayer for mercy. May the God of Rudder and Mali mark the number of breaths I have left and grant me some extra strokes to extend whatever he planned for me before. Because before I came here, I planned a kiss on my daughter and say I love you and I'm coming back. So Lord, don't make my words folklore. Till later, a third score and then more. Someone grandmother going home bong wrongs back to breath with the fresh scent of a new grandchild. Newborns give elders new life. A genetical healing based on a feeling that there is something to live for. Till later, a bid for a repeat of what we just had, the sweet meat still on we tongue, and before it drowns in the next rhythmless tide, like a 9 to 5, you're sticking up. Till later, so that the hope of that respite stays alive. Till later, a delayed goodbye, because as Annalie Prime said, goodbyes are not fair, they're too final. So we find a way to make this bashment stay. We find a way to circumvent it. Departure was never met with a silent reverence. It's a loud bashment, a heavy dragging of too much luggage for a too short stay. It's a boisterous and intrusive, I ain't going nowhere. Even if I'm out of sight for the while, my back pressed up against a closet full of goodbyes, keeping it closed. So I say till later, because I propose that I'll be here again. Yeah, man. So you ready to start the Till Later? And I think this song was so appropriate to really start the laters. Now, I don't want to say goodbye, so really start the laters, right? And we have some awards that we're going to get into. And immediately, two special awards, the two major awards of the Brooklyn Caribbean Lit Fest. We're going to announce the winners, and then you're going to hear some dramatic readings of their works, because unfortunately they couldn't be here with us in the flesh, but we're going to their work here. So they are here in so many ways. So at this time, we're going to get ready to cue up our video. This video is about Elizabeth Nunez. Those awards were named after. We know, unfortunately, she said goodbye to us last November. However, her memory is constantly celebrated in these awards and in the immense contribution she would have made to the Brooklyn Caribbean Lit Fest. So let me run the video. If the video didn't come on one time, it's because technical, you know, things go technical. But it will come on eventually, I promise you all. And then we're going to hear a little bit more about the awards.
in Trinidad. Well, I was born in Trinidad. I was raised in Trinidad. I went to high school in Trinidad. So I wouldn't say I am of Caribbean descent. I am a Caribbean person, having been born and raised in Trinidad. But I would say that because of the many years I've been in America, there's no question that American culture has influenced the way I look at the world, the way I write, the way I think of myself. So I would say that I am a Caribbean American. What makes us special are two things. One, that we are on an island. No matter where you look, north, south, east, or west, there is the sea. If you don't see the sea, you can smell the sea. And that has a very strong influence on the way we see the world. In a way, we're always looking outward. The other aspect about the way the Caribbean environment has influenced me is that we are constantly at one with nature. You don't live in the house. And so we feel a part of nature. We feel a part of the trees and the flowers and the smell of the earth. So I would say those two things distinguish us from other cultures in a way. I grew up under colonialism. I grew up when England was the colonizer of Trinidad. So there were two cultures coming at the same time at me, the British culture and the Caribbean culture. When I was growing up, the books I read were by Enid Blyton. And Enid Blyton had children going to the sea, to the beach for picnics. But what they did was they wore cardigans, and what they ate were cucumber sandwiches. And so, of course, I tried to imitate them, but you can't wear a cardigan in a Caribbean beach, and cucumber sandwiches, for God's sakes. But my grandparents had a friend, Derron McBurney. And Derron McBurney was quite the opposite of that. Derron McBurney would wear all these great colors, you know, that we lived with, the reds and the pinks and the yellows and so on. And she would talk about Tambron and Pomsite and practically losing all the Chenet and all those things. And suddenly I realized, I think she gave me permission to write about those things. And I felt at home doing that.
From today's weaker than expected jobs report to the president rebranding the Pentagon, it's been...
Who's that? Who's that guy?
Oh, can we, she's not here with us in body, and she's here with us in spirit. Would you please give a rousing, warm round of applause for our namesake, our patron, our dear and beloved Elizabeth Nunes. Elizabeth has given us the confidence to do what we're doing, and when we didn't have it, she generously allowed us to borrow hers. And she's here with us. This contest, the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival, Bclf Short Fiction Story Contest, awards 2 prizes every year in her name and in her honor. It is an annual writing contest geared towards unearthing and encouraging the distinctive voice and story of the Caribbean-descended writer and expanding the creative writing landscape of Caribbean literature. Initially in 2019, it began as the Emergent Writers Contest for unpublished writers. According to our maiden voyage in this literary world, our primary mission at that time was to unearth the hidden storytellers of Caribbean descent in North America. And we wanted to be an encouragement and an incentive for them to write their stories. In 2019, we were flummoxed by entries from the diaspora, and with Elizabeth's help and her advice, we broke off to have a second prize in 2020, and it was renamed the Bclf Short Fiction Story Contest. That prize, the second one that appeared specifically targeted to writers in the Caribbean, unlike the diaspora, was opened to writers of all levels with a distinctive eligibility clause of residency in the Caribbean. And if you weren't resident in the Caribbean, you had to be stationed temporarily with a distinct intent to head back home. And both of these prizes are directed to the two voices and perspectives which comprise the Caribbean identity: writers who are born and live in the region and those who reside in the diaspora. With these two awards, we ensure and we try to maintain that the two distinct voices, the variegated perspective of the ever-expanding definition of the Caribbean writer, was not pitted against itself. Overall, the contest and our prizes work to increase exposure for Caribbean writers to wider audiences. They are meant to enhance writers' visibility and consequently grow their access to larger literary networks and resources for writers of Caribbean descent. This unwavering devotion to narrowing the gaps between the fertile resources of the literary industry and historically under-recognized groups like Caribbean writers remains our primary mission here at the BCLF, while simultaneously guiding our contest rules and eligibility criteria. The Elizabeth Nunez Caribbean American Writers Prize is open to unpublished writers of Caribbean heritage. We do also allow self-published writers to apply. And the BCLF Elizabeth Nunez Award for Writers in the Caribbean is open exclusively to Caribbean writers of all levels who reside and work in the Caribbean or are on temporary assignment overseas, as I mentioned. This year's contest was adjudicated by Alcest Lewis Brown of the USVI and Antigua, Kelly Magnus of Jamaica, and Annie Paul of Jamaica. They judged generously the award for writers in the Caribbean. And the BCLF Elizabeth Nunez Caribbean American Writers Prize was judged by Kai Miller, Jacob Ross, and Patricia Powell, for whom this was also an act of service because they are Elizabeth's friends. I'd like to announce the winner of the 2025 BCLF Elizabeth Nunez Caribbean American, the winner of the BCLF Elizabeth Nunez Caribbean American Writers Prize is Brandon McIver of Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of the panel of judges, Alcest Brown says of Bush Tea that it is, his winning entry was called Bush Tea, Alcest Lewis Brown says that Bush Bath is a quiet triumph of storytelling. It's intimate, lyrical, and deeply rooted in Caribbean soil. It does not shout about its pain or demand sympathy. Instead, it invites us into the hush of a forest clearing where grief and memory swirl like a mist over a mountain pool. What makes the story remarkable is its restraint. It doesn't offer easy answers or dramatic confrontations. Instead, it honors the complexity of human relationships, especially those marked by absence. The narrator's memory of being saved by his mother is a single thread, but it's enough to weave a tapestry of compassion, curiosity, and quiet forgiveness. This evening, Kim Awan will read Bush Bath by Brandon McIver, and Kim is a Trinidadian actor and director and graduate of the Juilliard School. She has performed both on Broadway and off-Broadway, with credits including Twelfth Night, Romeo and Juliet, and Crumbs from the Table of Joy. Most recently, she performed in Molière in the Park's production of Tartuffe in Prospect Park. Kim has also directed plays for the Newark Arts Festival. Kim is thrilled to participate in BCLF this year, and she shares a love of storytelling. Would you help me welcome Kim to the stage with a rousing BCLF? A round of applause.
One moment, please. Technical difficulties. Sorry. Bush Bath by Brandon McIver. The first real thing I learned about my mother was that she was dying. Just after I turned 5, she divorced my dad and then disappeared from my life. And then, when I turned 7, Dad died in a car accident, and it was off to Granny's for the rest of my childhood. She always told me that my mother had her reasons for leaving, and that she was far away in England, which is why she was never around. But 2 years into my life as a Trini in foreign, myself, Hunter College, New York City, I got a call from Granny. She said that my mother had stage 4 breast cancer and that she wanted to see me before, well, Granny couldn't finish a sentence. Then, slowly, carefully, she called out a phone number I could ring whenever I was ready. 1-868. A Trinidadian number. I didn't even bother asking how long she'd been back. Something in Granny's voice told me my mother had never left. The only memory I had of my mother, the earliest memory I had at all, was a good one. I was 5 years old and must have run out into the bus route because I remember being snatched up from the chaos of the road as a man screamed past with a maxi and my mother whisking me away to the pavement, where she held me lightly in her arms and comforted me. In the only memory I have of my mother, she saved my life. At least in that moment, she loved me. So, while there were days I was angry or confused at her absence in my life, I didn't hate her. I didn't have to, really, because by the grace of God and my grandmother's hand, I was provided for. I made it to a good college, and for the most part, I turned out okay. I only held off from calling because I knew reconnecting with my mother would mean finally learning the answer to that question everybody in my situation had at some point. Why didn't you want me? And depending on her answer, I wasn't sure whether I'd still be okay after. I opted for a text. I'll be back for summer vacation. And she responded with the name of the hospital she was at. Told me she'd be waiting. True to her word, she was still alive when my plane touched down in June. But her condition had gotten worse, and it was less clear she'd be around to see me off again in August. Still, I didn't go right away. I met friends, I toured the roti shops, I restocked my pepper and green seasoning to take back with me, and I went beach. Granny let a week go by before she finally told me to stop the damn procrastinating and go to the hospital. So I texted my mother again and told her I'd be by the following day. And when I finally got to the turn-off to the hospital, I couldn't bring myself to take the exit. And I drove past. I circled back, and I must have repeated the same thing a dozen times before I decided to keep driving without turning back. I needed to clear my head. The city roads, it gave way to country roads, and I was swallowed up and surrounded by a Trinidad I had never seen before. It followed signs and roads and basically at random until I found myself parked outside the entrance to a trail leading into Tamana Mountain. With nowhere left to drive, I sucked in the mountain air and walked into the forest. Tamana was famous for its vast cave networks and the incredible bat population that lived there. So the trail I'd found was reasonably well maintained to accommodate the visitors that passed through. I was about half an hour into my impromptu hike when the path opened up into a beautiful natural pool. And almost as if to confirm that I'd come to the right place to clear my head, someone had tied a red ribbon around the trunk of a nutmeg tree where the path gave way to the clearing. I was hot from the walking and the stifling post-rain humidity. So I undid my boots and stripped down to my underwear to take a dip. I laid my clothes down on the bank where I noticed someone had arranged some herbs, flowers, and roots. The leftovers, it seemed, of a bush bath, a popular ritual in certain circles of the country. Now, some thought a bush bath could take off magie or turn one's fortunes, that it had the power to cleanse the things you couldn't scrub out. I'd actually picked a few wildflowers along the way myself, including a fire orange nutmeg flower from the base of the bow-tie tree. Typically, you were supposed to take the bush in with you, but it didn't feel right disturbing the arrangement, so I merely added my collection to the potpourri on the bank and waded out into the water. It had been raining, and of course, there were caves in the mountains, so there was a bit of a current. But I'd put in my hours at the community pool. I could feel out where it was strong, where it was deep, where I could find my footing, and where I couldn't. After I shook off that first shiver from the cold, I settled in a place where I needed little bounces on my tiptoes to keep my head above the surface. And then I closed my eyes, feeling the water rush over me. And then I pushed off to where it was deeper. I focused on the smell of the forest, the sound of the water, and let out a deep sigh. I hadn't realized I was holding it in. I could feel myself bleeding into the white sound and rushing water, when suddenly it felt like something grabbed my foot and pulled me down. My eyes shut open, and I saw a big shadow flicker and disappear into the bushes before I went under. The thing on my foot tugged again, stronger now. A root or a vine brought down by the rains. I jerked my leg up, but that only tightened the grip, and the panic making me inhale a sharp stream of river water. It felt like a cold, rubbery hand was squeezing my foot and dragging me under Maybe it was because I felt endangered, like I needed saving, because at that moment I thought of the one memory I had of my mother. An unexpected calm fell over me then. I let the thing pull me under for a moment, and feeling the tension slacken, I kicked it off. It sank heavy into a colder, deeper part of the pool, and with burning lungs, I shot myself back up and drank in a welcome breath of the forest air. I couldn't focus after that, and suddenly became aware of how cold that river was. So I made my way back to the bank, toweled off, and picked up the debris from my hair. And the forest felt more stifling than when I first stepped in. And I was glad the way out was as simple as returning to the bow-tied nutmeg tree and following the trail back to my car. As I was leaving the clearing, I noticed a woman standing near the nutmeg tree, lining up a photo with her phone. The sound of my footsteps startled her to my presence. "You were swimming there?" she asked. "Yes, I just took a dip." She squinted. "Well, if it don't bother you," she said with a shrug. "If what don't bother me?" "You mean you tie that ribbon on the tree?" I shook my head. "Actually, I have no idea what you're talking about." And so she told me this story. There used to be a small church down there, gone now but popular a few years ago. Had a charismatic pastor who knew how to charm his parishioners. But one day, a baby showed up on his doorstep. Maybe a too young mother knew a man of God could never turn away an innocent baby. Or maybe, the rumors say, it was the pastor's own flesh and blood. Of course, pastor go on record with the former and turn up his nose at the rumors. Now, part of the reason pastor church blew up was he bush bats. Bush bats, not exactly Christian though, so he called them baptisms. And that was an attractive proposition to the parishioners. Christ sanctified obia. You can't go to hell for that. And nobody could accuse pastor of putting on a pappy show with them bush baths, because without telling nobody, he'd take the child to the pool for a baptism to properly welcome him into his home. But if you're going in the pools, it have a system you must follow. The people in the area knew about the currents, so anyone who was to go in had to tie a red ribbon around the nutmeg tree to let everybody know they're swimming. And then when they come out, you untie it. Well, the next day, pastor not in his house, and the red ribbon tied tight on the tree. So a search party go in and find pastor, pass out cold on the riverbank. No sign of the child. It looks suspicious. Of course it looks suspicious. When he come to, he say he was giving the child a bush bath. When he got pulled under, first that pool, the same one bathed in, had a strong current as it is, but it was storm weather that day, not an occasion for a baptism. But the good book say the strongest iron tested in the fire, right? So say pastor, but still, He blamed himself. But plenty other people blame him too, and not for no accident. Now, Pastor had plenty sway down here, but tides could turn after something like that. People started to talk, and stories start to share about all the things they kept secret, things Pastor did not get away with in the past. And then they say the police was going and getting involved too. Well, it didn't take long before the pastor gone missing, and people find the red ribbon tied around the nutmeg tree again. The parishioners that still held their faith say he gone to absolve himself with a serious bush bath, not for killing the child, but for lacking the strength to protect him. Big difference, they say. This time, they find Pastor bobbing face down in the shallow water by the rocks. He was tangled up with the forest, sand and rocks in his pockets, and a vine loop around his foot like slip knot. People stopped bathing that pool after that. And even the most devout parishioners joined back Pentecostal and decide that bush bath is obia. And they swear off it for good. The woman pulled the tail of the ribbon and undid the bow. But you was the only one in there, right? Must have been some muck passing through who tied us then. And wait now, she continued. Ain't it rain today? And you may find the current was strong? I shook off some of the water from my hair, watched it seep into the dirt. Well, at what point you'd feel like something was pulling me under, I said. Or trying, she said as she walked away from me, to pull itself up. Back in the car, my mind was racing, and I kept wiggling my toes and scratching at my feet whenever I remember the sensation of whatever it was that had grabbed me in the water, and the story that the woman had told me. And then there was my mother. Going into the bush bath hadn't done much to clear my head because I couldn't stop thinking about that moment back in the bus route. In about a half hour, I'd be meeting my mother for the first time in 15 years. But I wasn't thinking about what I'd say or imagining what she looked like and whether it lined up with the image I had in my head. It was just that memory replaying over and over again, and the nagging feeling like there was something else, something just beyond, tucked into a deeper part of my memory. I felt like I could reach out and grab it in my arms if I could just stretch just a little further. A blaring horn, "Bama!" shook me out of my stupor for a moment. And I realized the turnoff to the hospital was right in front of me. And I had to pull a sharp left to make it. "But oh, your mother!" a pedestrian shouted at me as I got much too close, swerving onto the shoulder to avoid hitting him. I pulled into the hospital parking lot, found my spot, and finally breathed out. I told myself to calm down. And then it came to me. What must have been the precursor to the only memory I had of my mother. We were standing on the side of the bus route in front of Mova, where red band maxis flew up and down the interminable roads at blistering speeds. We were going to cross together. There were no walkways or zebras crossing and then stretch. Crossing was a matter of courage. My mother was holding my hand tight as we stepped off of the pavement. I remember feeling safe as my mother pulled me along to keep stride with her grown-up steps. But then, in the middle of the road, her fingers went limp, and she slipped away from me. And I was standing alone in a river of asphalt, with my mother watching me from the other side. And she was just looking at me with this blank expression, like she was waiting for something to happen, and time was standing still. My memory jumps back to the part I'd always known after that. I'm back on the pavement, back in my mother's arms, being hugged and cradled, and my baby boy, my sweet darling Ed, and she's talking to me, almost crying, saying, "You must be careful. You must be careful next time, Travis. You mustn't let go when we cross in. You could get bounced down if you're not careful." Up until then, I'd only ever had a single image of my mother in my heart, of the woman cradling me beside the bus route after she saved my life. But now, when I close my eyes, leaning back in my car seat in that hospital parking lot, I could only see the woman with the blank stare from across the way. For the first time since Granny sent me that number, I called my mother. Her voice was fragile, like a twig on the forest floor. I wanted to ask her if she remembered that moment on the bus route, whether I had it right, but I couldn't find the words. What came out was simply, "You ever try a bush bath?" It was the worst way to start a conversation off after 15 years, but... And she answered in that same almost crying voice that I remembered. She answered, "I did. There was something I feel like I needed to wash off." A blackbird cried and darted from a telephone line to a drooping tree. "And did you?" My mother didn't ask where I was, or whether I was still going to make visiting hours. She didn't ask why I wanted to know, or whether I was thinking of taking a bush bath myself. She seemed to know it already. For some reason, I thought of that 2-orange nutmeg flower I laid on the riverbank rocks, as my mother said. I'm not sure. I did never feel like nothing wash off, except maybe if... She trailed off. There was nothing but the somber static of the hospital room on her end. And I wondered whether she'd lost the strength to speak. And then, "You're still coming up?" she asked weakly. The key was still in the ignition. I could twist it to the left and pop it out. I could head up to my mother's room and tell her that the bush worked and that she was purified, that the only memory I ever had of her was being in her arms and knowing that she loved me and nothing else. Or I could twist it to the right and drive off. I put my fingers on the key and pinched it hard. And I turned.
Thank you, Kim. And now to announce the winner of the Bclf Elizabeth Nunez Caribbean American Writers Prize for 2025, and that is Cody-Ann Brown of Jamaica. Patricia Powell, one of the judges, says of Quality Time, "I was inspired by their thoughtful engagement with ordinary people confronting injury and loneliness and betrayal and regime change and magic and history. And I love seeing their characters' courage and rage and tenderness and confusion and humor and spirituality and self-reflection. The winning story, Quality Time, was simple, quiet, unsettling, tender, and wonderfully tuned." Carl Williams will read Quality Time by Cody-Ann Brown of Jamaica. Carl O'Brien Williams is a Jamaican award-winning creative writer, director, and actor. His credits include on the film side, Love Offside, a 2025 American Black Film Festival, and Caribbean Queen, 2024 New Fest LGBTQ and Plus Film Festival Award for Emerging Black Filmmaker and Audience Award runner-up. For theater, Beto's Interview at the Flea at the 2025 The Rogue Theater Festival. Audie Award nomination for narrating These Ghosts Are Family by Maisie Card, one of my very favorite books. Writing The Black That I Am, the National Theatre of Scotland, Edinburgh International Theatre Festival, Galway Arts Festival, and Here Arts Centre's Sublet Series. Bring on, Carl. I think we have a lot of mic situation going on here, but I'm not about it. So I can just stay here. I don't know.
On the drive over to his house, he got reacquainted with me like an old TV show. "So what grade do you know? You still friends with that little girl? Eh? What's your name again? You remember that time you used to..." The recap reel trailed further and further back till I was a baby gnawing at his shoulder again, soaking the t-shirt through. "You used to get up to some trouble, you know." He teased, his laughter canned, his gestures broad and over-embellished like a fun day mascot as he acted out stale memories. I smiled and nodded on cue. It always made him feel good to reminisce about the past. At the light, he pulled up to the photo gallery on his phone to show me the same few snapshots as if to remind me of myself. The phone was new. One of the recent models that I had seen advertised in the electronics shop's window after school as I walked to the small office where my mother worked as a receptionist downtown. When it was time to drive again, he let the phone clatter back into the cup holder and grabbed hold of the wheel. We stopped at his favorite Chinese restaurant to buy lunch, like we usually did on our rare Saturdays together. The cashier lady cooed over our likeness and his image of the doting father. He played along, pulling me into his side for a hug. He made his usual order: roast chicken with sweet and sour gravy and white rice. A single meal to share for two. "You never want anything else?" he asked as we got back into the car, as if to confirm something he already knew. "No, Daddy," I said, steadying the hot takeout containers on my lap. "Me know you don't eat much anyway," he said, pleased with his stellar recall. The closer we got to the house, the more serious he became. "There's someone I want you to meet," he said as we pulled into the driveway. He rented a small apartment sectioned out of the landlord's big house. The arrangement gave him a personal driveway and a small porch where I now saw his girlfriend sitting. I had already met this one, but I wouldn't put it past him to forget. It had happened before. A lick of dread started curling in my belly as I anticipated the awkwardness this second first meeting would bring. Kim, the girlfriend, incensed, and my father fumbling his way through excuses. By Kim's sullen expression, I knew she wasn't happy to see me. Then a little girl pattered onto the porch. She looked like him. She was dressed up like a present in a pink star-spotted t-shirt and shorts combo, her braided and looped into little buns, her hair at the top of her head, white Velcro sandals hugging her chubby feet. Her appearance signaled that somebody somewhere cared about her, that they wanted to inspire that same nurturing instinct in other adults wherever the child went. And now she was here. Brief introductions were made. "This is Candy," he said proudly, patting her on the head like a puppy. I overheard my mother telling a friend once that for every one Jamaican man, there were at least 3 stray children scattered across the island. Knowing this equation, I thought I was prepared for any surprises, but until seeing this girl in the flesh, I never considered that the surprise could be so big. Not a squealing baby cradled in a new girlfriend's arms, but a small child, already half the life and size of me. The little girl looked at me with the quiet wariness of a child thrust into unfamiliar company. I searched within myself for some internal tug, a yank of the blood that supposedly connected us. I felt nothing but the sagging weight of the takeout containers in my hand. I went inside to put them in the kitchen, leaving Candy to take in the adults' tense bickering. She'd have to get used to it around here. I heard bits and pieces from inside. Kim's agitated protests. "You just left her here? I don't know her from anywhere." My father's weak responses. "You're a very capable woman, babe. Of course, I trust you." When I came back out, my father was already shepherding Kim towards the car. "You're just going to leave them here alone?" she said incredulously, her voice climbing, annoying. I wished she would shut up and leave me to eat my roast chicken in peace. Then Candy shuffled to my side and the weight of responsibility settled in. I'd played Big Sister a couple times in my community with the neighbors' young children, coordinating ring games and marble wars in the dusty lane. But for all the lack of direct supervision by virtue of chronic underemployment and close quarters, the walls and fences and roofs of our homes crowded against one another. Somebody was always a few shouts away. The cool quiet of my father's neighborhood, where each concrete house was an island in its own sea of land, felt isolating in comparison, like we were alone in the world. "I just drop in you around the corner, I'll soon come back," my father said to Kim. This was a man who always round the road and coming back. In truth, he would probably be gone for hours, but I could imagine. and I could manage. I thought I saw a new contempt for my father bloom in Kim's expression as she settled into the passenger seat. The keys stay in place. My father called to me from the driver's side window as he buckled his seatbelt. He meant that there was a spare hung on the refrigerator, put there in case there was an emergency, like a fire, and I didn't need to get out. If we needed to get out, I stepped up to the grill and raised my fingertips to cold branded metal. I stepped away satisfied that at 12 and a half years old, I was now tall enough to reach the padlock without climbing onto the porch chair. My father's Toyota van peeled out of the yard, leaving the paint-chipped front gate yawning open in a Y. Candy was a quiet little girl. At first, I wondered if she could speak at all. She was silent all throughout my practiced ritual of getting plates out from the bottom cupboard, retrieving utensils from the kitchen drawers, scooping out steaming heaps of white rice and roast chicken dripping with sauce. She took for granted that she would be eating too, climbing up onto a dining chair and watching expectantly as I dipped the spoon into the takeout containers, full of a yet unmarred faith that the world would take care of her. A spiteful part of myself wanted to rattle that presumption, fling it back to wherever she was coming from with her sparkly white slippers, to share the meal into one plate, leaving the other empty, to eat it all while she sat across from me, teary-eyed, and ate the lesson. A blink, and the dark thought passed. I split my portion of meat into two, dipped a little more into the rice dish, shared her a plate, gave her a spoon, put the rest of the food into the fridge. Her first words to me were, "Thank you." The tightness building in my chest lessened a bit. Her voice was scratchy for a child. After eating, we sat letting the food settle in our stomachs. I pulled more out of Candy bit by bit. My guess was almost right. She was 5. She went to a primary school that wasn't far from mine. She liked running. Her favorite color was purple. Daddy picked her up after school sometimes. "Is this your first time here?" I asked. She nodded, and I felt like she had given something back to me somehow. If it were just me, I'd haul myself over to the bedroom and put a movie on, laying atop a throne of pillows as the hours of my visit ticked by. But I could imagine how strange this place would be in Candy's eyes. I would have to show her around. As small as the apartment was, well equipped to host a single person and maybe another half a person from time to time, be it a child or a short-term girlfriend, it was hard to decide where to start the tour. How could I introduce this man to her? What part of the home spoke the loudest? I decided to start with the trophy stand. My father was so proud of his accomplishments that they had their own tower, set to be visible upon entering the house. They were sales awards mostly, with a few semi-professional sports trophies in the mix. My baby picture was tucked beside a plastic gold cup awarded to the second runner-up in the 2009 D&G golf tournament. I knew a picture of his own father, Senior, was framed somewhere on the top shelf, too high for me to see. Candy was nowhere. "He'll probably add yours soon," I lied, hoping she didn't feel left out. Next, we explored the closet. I knew everything that was in there already, as I'd done this all before, so I encouraged her to root around in all the shelves, baskets, and cabinets. It was our heritage, after all. "Sometimes, if you get to sleep over, he gives you one of these to sleep in," I told Candy, rummaging through a drawer of neatly folded novelty shirts. They were all marked with different place names like Aruba and Panama and Mexico, and had illustrations of sandy beaches and colorful instruments. I had never been to any of these places before, but just touching the worn and stripping vinyl images made them reel under my fingertips. I showed Candy how to stroke the fabric in the right direction to avoid further shedding. When we were done, I folded everything back the way we had found it and shut the drawer so he wouldn't notice. Afterwards, we looked at his perfume collection. He didn't have a vanity like the old wooden one I had at home, crammed into my mother's tiny box of a room, inherited from my grandmother. He laid the scents out on a small end table instead. The angular crystal bottles reflected the light filtering through the window amongst themselves, casting rainbow streaks across the tabletop. I let Candy spritz just one, a heavy musky scent that seemed to be his favorite. It had gone down the most. For the other bottles, we held her next to our faces and took deep inhales that left us wrinkling our noses, giddy and giggling together. We finished off the DVD crate. I was careful to direct Candy's gaze away from the bad ones, depicting cold steel weapons and busty women on their covers. There were a few animated kids' movies in there, stocked in days gone by. I let her pick one to watch, even though I had seen them all dozens of times, and I was too old for them now. "Are you my sister?" Candy asked me, as we lay side by side watching the TV, our heads hanging upside down at the edge of the bed. "Yeah, I'm your sister," I replied, knocking her hand gently with mine. Her chubby grip caught my thumb in a pillowy squeeze. She didn't let go for the rest of the movie, even when we turned right side up. I had a sixth sense for when the Toyota van was chugging its way back home. It was something about the way the rattle of the engine reverberated in the stillness of the neighborhood. It was hours later, long after the movie had finished, and we had napped away the fullness of our bellies. The sun was sinking in the sky. I rose to start rearranging the kitchen, putting dishes in the sink, fixing the dining chairs, the rest. He never made me do dishes over here. I think because he thought I didn't know how to do them. I let him think that, but still piled the plates and utensils like nesting dolls, filling them with water to soak the dried sauce and hardened rice stuck to the ceramic. Everything in the kitchen was more or less in order by the time I was done. It would almost be like we were never there. The van was humming it to the driveway by the time I made it back to the bed to straighten out the covers underneath Candy's dozing body. "You guys had fun?" our father asked, after jangling the grill open, his face split in that plastic grin again. I smiled and nodded. Candy blinked her wide, sleepy eyes slowly at his tall form craning over us. He stooped to her level. "Maya take care of you?" Candy didn't speak. She didn't know how this worked yet, but she'd learn. "It was fun," I parroted. She allowed me to squeeze her to my side. We dropped Candy home first, rolling up to a house I'd never seen before. It was on the opposite side of the city from where I lived. This neighborhood, too, had a different feel from mine. The small houses, same shaped and neatly aligned in their rows. I made out the shadow of who I figured was Candy's mother on the other side of the open grill. Candy gave our father and I quick hugs before scurrying inside. "I'm glad that you guys got along," he said on the way to dropping me off. "Me always say, my kids will stick together, you know, and live loving no matter what." He went on, waxing poetic about family and loyalty like he was wont to do, till he became tangled upon his own thoughts, falling silent. I had never met any of my father's siblings. What I knew of them, I only knew by my mother's limited account, and the little my father had mentioned of them. I wondered if they thought lovingly about him back in the day, living up on that hill with Senior in the big house. My father growing up under a zinc roof in a small village tucked away in the shadow of the valley. I wonder if they thought of him now. It took a while to get home. The closer we got, the more solid the streets became, the more I felt the flickering tongue of heat licking over my face from the window. My world was reinserting itself, but my mind was elsewhere, trying to calculate the distance of 6 years in kilometers across a city. I had forgotten to ask Candy for her birthday. I did not ask my father. Would he remember hers if he could never remember mine? I vowed I would ask Candy about it the next time I saw her. I knew where her school was. My mind had already started plotting a route from the nearest bus stop. I wondered if she would be happy to see me, if the people around would see our father's mark in the both of us and call us siblings. Soon, the blur of passing light posts and business complexes on Archer Road resolved into the grooved concrete designs etched into my neighbor's unfinished walls, into the dense overarching canopy of crowded fruit trees common to us all in the community. We rolled up the patchy road to the yard. A warm light emanated from the belly of my small house on the lot. My mother stood in her house dress, arms akimbo, leaning on the front gate, reproachful, awaiting my return. My father offered a gruff greeting to her and passed an absent-minded kiss over my crown. He was still in his head. At some point in his reflection, his mood had turned, and he was now closer to being another man, a real one. After a moment's hesitation, I spoke, careful to transfigure the heavy press of need into a light nudge. "Daddy," I said softly, "could I get some lunch money?" "Of course," he said, reaching for his wallet. He pulled a few bills from a wad of cash, explaining to me that he did remember, but this was actually his workers' pay, and things have been tight in the business, and he'll have to get the car serviced at the end of the month, and he'd have to pay for registration too, and he was flying out soon, and the doctor called him about a test, and he'd give me the rest later on in the week. I said, "Yes, Daddy," and allowed him to squeeze me to him one final time, the center console of the vehicle jabbing into my side. "We should spend more time like this together," he said as I withdrew. My father's car pulled away with a pip-pip of the horn. I stood with my mother at the gate, watching the departing van turn the corner, knowing it was not likely that I would see it again before another long while. My mother rubbed a hand between my shoulder blades. I slipped the money into my jeans pocket and flexed my fingers at my side, grasping at air, trying to recall the phantom press of a little hand holding mine.
All right, put your hands together if you enjoy the Brooklyn Caribbean Literature Festival, the literary festival. When, big up the readers, Kim and Carl as well, yeah? When Kim was reading, I started to hold my foot, so yes, with the part when she was reading about the thing grabbing the foot, and I started to hold my foot frightened in the back. I know that would have fallen. I tried to save him, but sometimes people don't want to be saved. But speaking about saving, this is Till Later, and we can't leave all here just so. Yeah, take this, take two of them. We can't leave all here just so. I have some things to give away. These two posters here, Root and Remedy posters, signed by all the authors and writers and panelists that came through. And I know somebody want to have this, and somebody wanted. Who wanted? All right, well, yeah. Anybody in the Bclf for the first time? This is your first time in the Brooklyn Caribbean Lit Fest. All right, too much people, so we cancel that one. We cancel that one. Anybody, this is your first event? So much people here for your first event, man? All right, I'll give one of you all it. If you all familiar with this song, because we have some songs we're gonna drop for all you. Cooper, run a tune there. I'll tell you when to stop it. Run a tune, I'll tell you when to stop it, and if they know the tune, poster is yours. Poster is yours. And I see all you Jumbie and Cooper and telling them about bottom left, bottom left. Stop it, stop it, stop it! That's too much! That's too much! That's too much! Right, in the Caribbean, you know we deserve our part. You know the song, the person we have, this is your first event? Somebody right there, come up now, come up now, come up now. I want to give this to you. You had to come now. You had to come now. It's you. And this is your first event too? All right, you come as well, because really pointing at you, but he came now, so I have to give you it. I have to give it, I'm going to give it first, but then go and get you just so elevated. Run the tune there, let me see if they really know it. You don't know it? Where you from? He don't know it either? Well, two are in real problems here. Cooper, run the tune, we'll teach them it, right? We'll teach them it in the Caribbean music, this healers, and we bring all they don't know is big tune, boy. Run that same Marshall, run the same Marshall. So this will be for you, but after you learn the tune. All right, listen to it good. You understand anything yet? You not understand anything? Come, listen. Tell everybody. There's a song about partying and enjoying life because we work so hard. Marshall Montana in him. No play, me say, no way. We don't want no pastor that I need a stress reliever. That's what it's all about. Yeah, this is yours. And this is yours. Yeah, take a little picture, man. Take a little picture. Let's come in. Take a little picture. Right? Welcome, and we're glad to have you all here. Very good. And we hope that next year, same place, same time. Same place, same time? Same place, same time. We have events all weekend. But we're glad to have you all here. You all could follow Bclf on Instagram. Right? All right, for sure. Give them a round of applause. We have some more songs at healing. I'm going to drop 2 more, and we're going to take the toast. Run the next one there, Cooper. And nothing else to give away, though. Oh, you know this one? Who know this song? This is a serious healing song. The name of the song is Healing. Who know it? What kind of Caribbean audience is this? All you don't know this? All you don't know this? You know this one? Boy, what trouble is it? She know this one. All right, let me hear. Oh, Jamaica, where the Jamaicans in the building? Hey! Jamaica. You're from Jamaica. You know Jamaicans. All right, pull it up. Cooper, we go and run one more. And if they know this one, we go and give them something. I have one more thing to give away. If they know this one, we go and give them something. Run the tune there. I could give away coconut. This is a nice hard one. Pull it up, Cooper, pull it up. I'm going to ask them now. Who know that one? Patrice? All right, come. I have something for you. I have something. Oh, good. Look at that nice book, man. Come. I'm going to take it from you. Hey, get you. Run the tune, Cooper. The soca is the therapy. Another song of healing. So it says, the Grand Paloma Resort. We had a real nice conversation about this earlier in the festival. But we're glad that you could come and you could have this book here. Yes, congratulations. Give me a round of applause. Patrice Roberts, organize that fair. Yes, sir. So as we leave the Brooklyn Caribbean Lit Fest, we talk the whole... We have one more book. We are next. Oh, we have something. Cooper, we have our next tune there. Something else. Run our next tune. Let me see who know this one. We're leaving out. Let's have nice songs to take on you. Party. But stop it. Not everybody know that. Stop it, Cooper. Stop it. Not everybody know that. Who pick it up? I want to give you something. Yeah, I want to give you something. No, but you had to know the song. You don't know that song? Play something Guyanese? Nah, we'll help you out with this one. We'll help you out. Turn it back up, Cooper. Turn it back up. Listen to it good. yes. You know it? Your favorite. Come. What's that? Love Guyana bad. Nah, you ain't getting no more. This is the first time you hear the song in your life? Serious? Well, hear what it's saying. Excuse me while I lie. Forget that part. Alright? Lord, I gotta take a little. Reality, I just can't jump. Hey! Don't worry, we giving you something still, right? You like this? Alright, this song is about just taking it easy. True life. So you see this week it's just taking it easy. You working this week? Tell the boss we say you're taking it easy. Oh, you are your boss? That's what we talk about. Taking it easy. Here you go. We have a little picture to take. Yes. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Y'all remember to follow Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Fest on Instagram and Facebook and all the social media platforms. Put your hands together for Cooper down in the back there with the tunes, man. Yes. And we'll keep the tunes running in the background. And I have two Melanies and a Marsha off stage, and they're gonna come and give us some toast and bring the curtains down on what has been an amazing weekend. You all had an amazing weekend? All right. Well, you have to do, turn to the person next to you and say till later. Turn to the person behind you and say till later. Because that means we're coming back. God's be alive. You all take it away on the top.
Derron.
Alright, what we say? Alright, so we're gonna take a toast. Alright, but before that, Melanie from the Center for Fiction, she's gonna say something.
Okay.
Let's put on. Oh, we getting some drink. Let them get a drink first. When Caribbean people getting things there, start to talk about it and that kind of thing. So wait till they collect that stuff, and then we're gonna take the toast a little bit. You could run the tune by the time, Cooper, by the time they're sharing it out, man.
Anybody have a drink yet?
I should have asked about this one. Nobody would have known it. All right. Everyone has their little glass. If you have your glass, raise it up, let me see. Raise it up, let me see. If you don't drink alcohol and you have your water like me, raise it up, let me see. All right, nice. Very good, we have everything. So first of all, we want to raise a toast to Giovanna. Giovanna, where? Where Giovanna gone? Giovanna, come. Yo, Giovanna has been coordinating backstage, making sure everybody gets here on time. When we upstairs eating, Giovanna calling you to put on your microphone. She has been running up and down, and we have something for us. So let's raise a toast for Giovanna. No, we can't clap. Hey, Giovanna, come through. We have something for you. Hey. Nice. All right, and over the weekend we had plenty food. Today we had some kalalu and thing. Where my Jamaican friend who didn't want the kalalu? Where has she gone? But we want Miss Jean to come up at this point in time. You know, making sure we had the food, man. You're gonna lift up something for Miss Jean. Where she is? She coming. Very nice one. Yes. Some nice barbecue chicken today. The first is Polori, is this, is that, everything. Oh, you look at here. This is my girl and a machine, my food for soul and all that. Yes. Hey. Look, we have a flower up here, man. She come with flowers, man. Yeah. Yes, we are very grateful. And any more chicken on there? Any more chicken up there? And no eye. All right. All right, so Melanie, this is Melanie McNair from the Center for Fiction right here. I want you all to make some noise for Melanie. Making sure we have the spot. And now we want to hear a little bit from her. So Cooper, give us a little low there. Let's hear from Melanie a little bit.
So I just want to say this is year 7 of BCLF. And how many of you have been here the whole time? I know I've seen a bunch of your faces. How it's grown. I am so impressed. I am so always completely blown away by the amount of heart and thought and depth that goes into all of this and that comes out of all of it. Let's have a moment of silence for all the people who weren't here this weekend because they really missed out. Melanie and Marcia, you are amazing. Thank you for doing this again. You're giving the world something that it needs.
And with that said, on behalf of Marsha and I, the BCLF team, and everybody who always shows up here at the Center for Fiction, we want to say a heartfelt thank you for always having our back and for giving us the opportunity to do this with our people. Thank you. Love you dearly.
Yeah, like live for toast. Yeah.
And to, in the words of Bette Midler, the wind beneath our wings, to Louis, to Jordan, to Kendra, who we've just about to Velcro you to our bodies with a camera, to my mom and my sister who think in spreadsheets and organizations, to Joelle, who's been volleying the food back and forth, to the entire incredible team of volunteers. If we didn't call your names, to our families, to our children who make the sacrifices so that we can pour into this, we thank you, we love you. To just everybody who shows up, thank you. You all have to buy books, you all have to support Caribbean writers, help us grow from strength to strength. We thank you so much for being with us this evening. And Mel, I know it's pissed you off. I know it's pissed you off, but girl, thank you so much. Cooper on the music, and just everybody, honestly, thank you. My writer friends, my friends who are writers who are becoming friends. I mean, just thank you. Darren, how much more years we have, boy?
Once CSC bring me up here, and the security zone bringing me
yeah.
Big up the security zone.
To Patrick Rassonive, and I don't want to tell you where he is because then you'll go on to book him for the graphics, for the imaging. Yeah, thank you so much. So we're gonna do this so we can drink this.
All right. So on behalf of the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival 2025, Roots and Remedies, let's take a toast. Somebody say till later. Yes. Make some noise before you drink something. Make some noise a little bit before you drink. No, drink it. All right. I have one last thing to give away. And I just to show you all the exited right in the back. Don't worry, next year we back here again. It was a pleasure. Cooper run some tunes, all you meet somebody, talk to somebody, take a picture, post something, tag the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And we will see you next year. All the volunteers, photo up time. We calling all the volunteers. All the volunteers to head up on stage. And of course with Miss Jean and Miss Phoebe Blake coordinating the food. There's so many people, so many people contributing. We're calling all the volunteers to make their way up. We have some photos to take before we run off. Big tune by Cooper. You know this one? You know this tune? What? How you doing? All right. Take it, right? Take it with the man. Yo, send some for me, huh? Yeah, send something. Huh? It's weak. I smell this and I drop. I good. I don't drink enough, so me drinking this. One, I don't like how this is, especially rough. Yeah. This smelling like my barber shop. Big up the volunteers. I'm falling in that one picture. Get the volunteers first. Look at one now coming after. We missing volunteers, we missing people. Come up, mommy, we want you in the picture. We want you in the picture. Marcia, who else are calling? Delia, all you come. Photographers never go in pictures.